Here's the front entranceway. So I guess technically, in English, the translation is the Military Historic Museum of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Kazakhstan. So now we're in the more modern era. This is said to be from the 18th and 19th centuries. It says Iran. Now what do they mean by that? I did read online there was some kind of ancient Persian Iranian connection to some of the languages here. So old swords, arrows, shields, they say from the 18th century, 1700s, interesting. And then we go into more modern stuff. Muskets, weapons, guns, from, I can only guess. It says here, again, 18th, 19th century. And then we're going into the August 20th century. Machine guns. Tommy guns. Look at that, there's a Tommy gun. And then this looks like World War II and newer. More machine guns. This gun here on the top is an AK-74. And the one on the bottom is an AK-47. It doesn't give the years on these. It just says they hold 30 rounds. Okay. It says the AKM Avtomati. 1959 on the top. And the bottom right is the AKC-74V. Avtomati. 1974 small portable assault rifle. Wow. Okay. Let's continue. Look at that. There's no lights on in this section, so the lighting isn't great. 14.5 millimeter Vladimirov heavy tank machine gun. Wow. Tank machine guns. Look at that. Yeah, some pretty serious guns in here. This is a the ZU-2 anti-aircraft gun, 14.5 millimeter. And there's a couple other huge guns. Look at those guys. Those are huge. Wow, 30 millimeter. The 2A42 automatic gun. The Shipnov and the VP Gredezev. Those are big guns. Here is a history of handguns. Interesting. On the top, number 1, is the Nagant revolver from 1895. 7.62 millimeter, 50 meter effective range. That looks like a classic gun in the Westerns from North America. Number 2 is a Mauser pistol from 1899. 7.62 millimeter. 20 rounds. Firing range 500 meters. Continuing on, wow. Number 1 on the top is a TT pistol from 1930. Isn't that interesting? Number 2 is the Parabellum pistol from 1900. Number 3 in the middle is a Colt from 1911. Number 4, the Walter pistol from 1938. And the number 5 is also a Walter pistol, but from 1929. I thought the Colt was Western. Interesting. More Wow. The Star Pistol from 1926 on the top. The middle, number 2, is the Sig Sauer pistol from 1980, 9mm. And then the number 3 is the Steyr auto-loading gun from 1912, 9mm. From 1912. Wow. And what else do we have here? Number 1 on the top, it says, is a Margolin sport pistol from 1950, 5.6mm. And then the middle one, number 2, is a sport pistol also, the TO349 from 1975, 7.6mm. And look at the handheld grips on them, the wood handheld grips, how they're shaped. It's interesting. Number 3 on the bottom is the 2-3 MCM pistol, 5.6mm. That one doesn't give a year for some reason. Wow, now we're into the rifles. Isn't that interesting? Look at that. Sporting rifle. These are considered to be sporting rifles. Single shot. Doesn't give a year on these ones. Just says the MTS 17 is the top. The TOZ 8mm is the second one down. The Typhoon 3 is the third one down. And looks like the BK3 is the bottom one. Small caliber single shot as well. Old sporting rifles here, but there's not any names. Pardon me, there's names. There's not any years given to them. So I'm not sure what's going on here. It just says they're sporting shot rifles. I'm assuming they're from Kazakhstan. Why else would they be here? Now we're getting into the rocketry. This is the anti-tank guided missile, the 9M17P Falanga. Wow. And then we're getting into some heavy duty stuff here. Wow. That's the R60 air-to-air short-range guided missile. Wow. Surface-to-air guided missile. The 9M33 M3 Strela 10, it says. And then lastly, over here, what do we have here? Look at those guys. So, just anti-aircraft military system. The 9M313 is on the bottom, and the 9M32 on the top. Both anti-aircraft missile systems. Wow. And then we got the big guys over here. Look at that. Wow. That's an anti-aircraft guided missile, the 9M33 M3. 1971. Yeah, that would definitely take a plane down. Look at that. And then here's something really big. P-27P. That's one heck of a missile. And then on the very end, what is that? That's a supersonic unit UB 1657 UMP from 1968, supersonic. Supersonic from 1968. And here they've been talking about supersonic missiles being new. Here's a section dedicated to anti-tank artillery and grenade launchers and mortars. I'm not going to give you all the names and numbers, but these are all armor penetrating weapons. It doesn't give the years of them. No, it doesn't. But they look old. Yeah. An anti-tank guided missile. And there looks like some older stuff. 1915 grenades and artillery. Wow. Look at that. These are machine guns that were mounted on planes. Yeah, aircraft aircraft armaments. Wow. There's too many numbers. They're aircraft mounted machine guns. That's all you need to know. Here's a real cool little model they have here of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. So Kazakhstan, you see the mountains to the southeast all the way around. So we're in Astana right now, which is up there, which is kind of the central north in the flat plains. And then the sea is over here. Wow. And Almany is right there down in the mountain range there. Neato. Old medical kits. This must be a technology area. It looks like an old dentist chair. Doesn't give the year. Maybe this is just stuff the military used to use in their everyday operations. The radio from 1895. Wow. Continue on here. Well, that's from 2010. Those are fairly new. Oh, this is from 1943. You can see with the telephone line, they run wired telephone lines. Wow, look at that. 1957 and 1969 on the top. Look at this, 1957. Telephone system, 1970. Military radio communications, 1958. The CCCP, 1966 typewriter. So it's all communications. 1970, 1959. Wow. 1980. That's one heck of a radio, but it's got a huge antenna. We've got some musical instruments, metals, old typewriters, cameras, film. And then look at the old typewriters. Wow. That's Dowser. It's from 1908. It didn't change much from 1908 to 1965 there, right? Ah, this is an old film splicing unit here, 1976. And then more modern typewriters, 1987. Wow. 1953. 1979. And a computer from 1990. Wow. I managed to get through it as much as I could. It's a pretty big place. So I've got statues behind me of modern military, and then they have representation of the old Saka, the Kazakh military establishment. They've got artifacts in here all the way from the 5th century BC, all the way into modern times. It's quite impressive, actually, I would have to say. It's worth a look if you ever come through here to Astana to check it out, both inside and out. And I hope you enjoyed the tour. Have yourself a great day.